Yo everybody, it's Yola Ride. So let's get to it. Bring the pain! What's up everybody, it's Heat Override and I'm ready to bring the pain for you and Dr. Roto this week. Ooh yeah! Actually, this is just a little introduction because if you haven't noticed by the name of the podcast, it's called Bring the 8 because it's Season 8. Ooh yeah! It's time to bring the pain! Yeah! What's that mean for everybody? Well, that means the same content and more going into Season 8. Season 7 was iconic for Bring the Pain. Each year, I've been working harder and harder to try to grow the brand and also try to produce the best content we can at Dr. Roto, especially from my point of view, and trying to add more and new challenging things. And we'll get to that. But of course, I want to start it off and I want to talk about a lot of different things that you're going to get this season that we built on from last season and the season prior. So you all know that the Ultra Contrarian show will be back. Of course, the hit show Bring the Pain will be back as well too. You get both of those, and if you listen to the Bring the Pain hit show, you get the Macho Pick of the Week. Ooh yeah! But that's just not it. Combining the Macho Pick of the Week with the Ultra Contrarian show has led to an astounding record over the past 2 seasons, one of the best DFS lineup podcasts out there. You may not want to believe me, but if you go back and check all the numbers, you'll understand that soon enough. However, it has been a great year, and every single year with my DFS lineups, I'm giving you a whole lineup. Not 4, not 1, not 3, not 6. I'm giving you a whole DFS lineup to play on both sites. And it worked out for us for our past 2 years. It's always worked out for me. So that's just what I want to talk about. I want to talk about, and I want to make sure that I'm being transparent to everybody, that you know what you get with Bring the Pain. I know that sometimes I'm a little wild. I know that sometimes I can be a jerk. That's why I have a skit for that. And that's for my supporters club only. That you'll have to go to Bring the Pain at Spreaker to actually pay for to be part of, because that's where all my crazy stuff is. That's where you get all my past podcasts about certain things that happen in life and other things. But however, going forward with baseball season starting real soon, and that means Lou, Trevor, and the team are going to be putting out the best content. Doc has been talking tons of baseball on the weekends on Sirius XM Fantasy, so that is another reason to get there. Also, we have the football off season. We have the draft in about a month and a half. Right now, free agency is about to hit. There's teams making trades all the time. As we speak, or before we spoke, Christian Kirk was dealt to the Texans because Tank Dell is still not right from that injury that happened last year. That being said, he's going to miss the year and Houston had to reload. That'll work out for them. But you're getting that content right now at Dr. Roto. And I'm not saying that other places aren't doing it, but we are. That's why you got to get there and use code word DOC and get yourself a percentage off. I mean, I will tell you one thing nobody else has, and that's Dr. Roto. Yeah! I mean, the guy has been one of the best radio voices in forever. The fact that Sirius XM, and I'm sorry to dig on you, but my podcast wouldn't be called Bring the Pain if I didn't represent my boy. But he is one of your best hosts on SiriusXM, has always been, even going back to the birth of Bring the Pain, being with Tommy G and Dr. Roto, the late nights, the crazy things, coming home to eggs on fish tanks. I don't even know what that was. I still don't know what that was to this day. But whatever happened when I was gone got a lot of people involved, including my wife. That's why she's one of the more popular, DFS girls that used to be out there and everything. But now she just moved on because that show is gone and they don't have Doc on. And that's the thing, is that sometimes some places need to sit back and think about what you have before it's gone. And that's to you, Sirius, because seriously, Doc is the best. Yeah! Woo! A lot of other things that other sites don't have is, of course, our price. Our price is a lot cheaper than a lot of other places, and you get the same great content, the great hit rates and everything. I mean, right now, there's very few people that are doing as good as me in a sport that I'm going to bring up and I will talk about. And I will show you and I will talk to you, because I'm not going to make this a long podcast, but I want to again show you what Bring the Pain is about. I'm not a one-trick pony. I'm not just sports. I do interviews. When I did all my hometown series last year, Erie's only hometown series podcast that is reaching out to other podcasters and just regular local people who don't even do podcasts and putting them on my show. That actually is going to lead to another podcast coming up. And I'm talking about my buddy Mez, who I met through the Pod of Thunder, who I just had Chris L from the Pod of Thunder on as well too. So I will thank you for that. That was definitely it was an honor, because not only was I associated with Chris, and Chris being one of the first podcasters to really get me into podcasting, but also a lot of the other little brainy little skitsy things, like back in the day when I would always have the what in the backgrounds and things like that really set me off, and it really inspired me. So that's how I met Mez. His podcast is going to be called Talking Kiss. So it's going to be talking a lot about Kiss, a lot about his stories. He has a lot of crazy stories. He's met all of the crews. He's done the backstage VIPs. He's been on the boats. He's met the Pod of Thunder guys. So in person. So that just being said right there, it shows how podcasting can be more than just life. It brings a family together. If you find that right family, the Pod of Thunder Stand Facebook page that's private, because there's a lot of you people that couldn't deal with a lot of things that we post in there. But the thing it comes back to is a community. A lot of supporters that I have are outside of Erie. I have a good support in Erie, but it could be better. Unfortunately, Erie is so stuck up their own ass that they don't even know what the hell's going on anymore in life. I mean, it just shows with the straights, and why one of my videos, best videos of all time that went super viral, was of a snowplow truck getting stuck in my cul-de-sac because the city sent the wrong thing, and they knew they did, but they did. So that's the funny thing about Erie, but that's fine with me. It's no knock. I have all of you. I have the Painbringers. I have my subscribers who all know I'm putting that work in, going hard. That's another thing, is I know that there's a lot of people in this industry that work hard, but there's a lot of people in this industry that rely on bots in numbers and things like that. And you're not transparent all the time, because you're only going to follow your models. You can't just always follow your models. And I'll talk about that eventually with my next thing. So when I say I'm going to bring back my hometown series, I have a bunch of guests already lined up for that. I have a few big guests that I want to bring in, but unfortunately, I'm going to have to pay some money for them. So I've kind of put that on the back burner right now, because I have a lot of work going on right now with Dr. Roto, and with football draft and off season, and of course free agency coming up, and baseball. So you'll catch a lot of my betting articles I was doing Friday last year. So they're going to put me on the weekends, which is better for my schedule. Of course, between my job and being a point fighter, going to tournaments and kicking ass, I have to take some time to also sit aside and make sure that all of my people, all of you people, have great content. So therefore, that leads to a lot of this stuff. So you're getting draft talk already, and if you haven't been at Dr. Roto on MSN, we have a ton of articles right now, like top 10 baseball players of all time, top 5 basketball starting 5. That just hit. Right? So go under there, like stuff. I'm putting out my top 10 power rankings for both the WWE and the UFC. Now, I do want to stress that, again, I'm not a one-trick pony. I do video game music. I did do a music review. I want to do more of that going into next year, because I want to make sure that you have so much content that even when you go to other podcasts, you'll be like, hey, this is cool, but hey, Heat Override's doing a whole video game podcast about this. I got a game coming up that started a lot of life for me has an amazing soundtrack. Unfortunately, that soundtrack could get me blocked on some of the podcasting sites, but that doesn't mean that the other podcasting sites will not let it go. Thanks, Spreaker. You always got my back. Yeah! So, that being said, I want to talk about it. I want to talk about that, and I want to get into a little bit of theory at least. Get that? So, I want to talk about what I've been hinting to the whole time, which is my current UFC product at Dr. Roto, the Fight Club of Pain. The Fight Club of Pain, again, was created in 2021. It was a group of me and the fighters I fight with for Team TKO Erie just talking fight theory, but we didn't really use it too often. We would just talk in the dojo when we'd see each other, because we're in the dojo anywhere from 3 to 4 times a week. So we get a lot of talking going on. And sometimes a little bit of betting talk, but we try not to because, out of respect for the dojo and kids and being underage, we can't really do all that stuff. So that's why the Fight Club of Pain was created, so that we could put some of those talks in length in that area. So that has led to the podcast, something that I wanted to do, because on top of doing the power rankings for WWE, it led to the 5 bold picks. Now, the 5 bold picks started 3 weeks ago, right? 3 weeks ago. And I have went 4-1 in each week. Now, each one of those weeks has won their fight, but it just wasn't by the method that I said. A knockout, or under 1.5 rounds, or under 2.5 rounds, and it ends up going the full distance. Sometimes I'm going to miss, and that's the thing. That's the content that I want to provide, but I'm giving out betting, and I'm giving out DFS advice. So you're getting a full DFS lineup, you're getting betting advice, and you're getting that all from the Fight Club of Pain, and that's what we do. Do we have models? Sure. But do we need to use them? No, because unlike what I was talking about earlier when I was hinting that people rely on models, unfortunately in UFC, in MMA, you can't rely on that. You have to know how to fight. You have to have been in there and been punched in the face repeatedly, kicked in the head, kicked in the ribs, had a busted rib, had a busted eye. You need to do that. Yes, you have to be a fighter to understand the UFC more. Why? Because you can't be some chump sitting there looking at the numbers, and I mean, maybe you're not a chump, but if you're not in the ring, you're not going to understand what a duck is. You're not going to understand what maybe going for a sweep at that certain point is. And that is something that the computers will never show you. You can only see that by watching fight tape. It's the same thing I say about IDP and the NFL. It's game tape. It's all about the tape. If you can look at the numbers and be like, yeah, it's got to have 10 touchdowns. How did he score those 10 touchdowns? Did he score 3 of them? It goes back to the Khalil Mack game 2 years ago when he had 6 sacks. He scored so many points in that game that literally it set him up to be in the top 5 of any IDP league 2 years ago off of one game. But the rest of the games are ass. So why are we enamored with these numbers? When it comes to UFC, the only thing that matters is your knowledge and your feelings towards that fight. And right now, the Fight Club of Pain is that. I'm not tooting my own horn. I am not blowing smoke up my own arse, right? I am talking about providing a product that is not only backed by numbers, backed by professionals, well, amateurs that are going to turn professional, but we are a bunch of fighters that do that. And you're also getting the theory. You're getting me and my team watching tons of fight tape, providing you the best analysts. And so when we go live with the Fight Club of Pain, when we go live, we focus on 3 fights. And that's because the rest of the stuff is, of course, behind the paywall and in subs-only Discord. That means you have to get to Dr. Roto and join to see all of it. If you have a puzzle and you only take 3 pieces of the puzzle out of 10, can you complete the puzzle? No. You have to like, follow, and share. Bring the pain at Dr. Roto on Facebook, on the X. You can follow me at Heat Override with the O, just like it said right there with the O. And you can also find me at the double O's too, because that's what I am. That's my James Bond persona. Yeah! But that's what I want to talk about, is that this is the product, this is the direction of Bring the Pain. There's a reason why Bring the Pain's Season 7 has been its luckiest, has been its best, but it's also because it's a work in progress. It's what I'm building under everything else. All these other people are winning Writer of the Year. Somebody won DFS Podcast of the Year. No. DFS Podcast of the Year is Bring the Pain at Dr. Roto. I will say that, and I will go head to head with anybody else that says that with the lineups I gave out. Because just like I said, I gave out full lineups and none of anybody else did. And if they did, they were scared. And they're going to be like, well, this guy did it. He'd override. Look, that's fine he did that. But guess what? He didn't say it with his chest. He didn't put it on tape, right? But what I provided for all of you was a lineup. I didn't make you bored sitting here listening to numbers and all that. Yes, I spit it. Yes, I give the nuggets, but I don't need to when I'm giving you the lineup because the work is behind the lineup. My record is behind the lineup, and it shows that with that product combined with the rest of the stuff you get at Dr. Roto, you will always be our rich friend. Have a great day, everybody, and always remember to bring the pain. May the sights be with you, and check out the new Fight Club of Pain for UFC 313 this Saturday. Yeah!
Thanks for stopping by the office. Get your fantasy prescription by subscribing to the channel and checking out drroto.com. Until the next visit, be well and take care.